That camera? I'll do. है ना?
रामन नहीं आई यार.
Yum, now I know the hype. Why is everyone lining outside that small little shop in my neighborhood?
Hi guys, welcome to the social circle where conversations are real, raw, and little bit rebellious.
So today's episode is very special. We're going to be talking about food, community, building a brand, and building something that people really line up for.
And today we have with us Navika and Hitein, founders of Zuru Zuru, which is the most talked and hyped ramen place in Delhi NCR.
Yes, absolutely. And we've just tasted the ramen, and it is absolutely delicious.
Now, all I know is what's the hype about. You have to come visit their restaurant. You'll go amazed with the kind of ramen, the taste they have, the delicacies. It's amazing. It's mind blowing. So, first thing I really want to ask, where does this name came from? Zuru Zuru.
Navika was the one who kind of pitched it, so I think he should tell the story.
We had like first of all, thank you so much for your kind words about the ramen. We are just very happy that we could bring something along that you could taste. And we had this really long chat before opening, which was like I think 3 days before opening, where we are trying to still decide what is it that we should call the brand, because before starting the restaurant, we used to have like a delivery service of DIY kits, which was called the Hopeless Ramentic. Now that's a little bit of a mouthful when you say that as a restaurant's name. So we had to decide between Ramenya and something else, and I did not want to call the restaurant Ramenya because while that's like a literal translation and for somebody who makes ramen, but it's not fun, like interesting like that. So Zuru Zuru actually means surup surup, but in Japanese it's
Wow. That's the best thing I love to do.
Yeah, it's the onomatopoeia for the sound of slurping. So it was actually at a dinner party that we went to right before opening, like 2-3 days before, where we took a vote and we set the two names out and got sort of the public opinion, and that's how we decided.
So which was the other one running?
Ramenya.
Ramen. No, it's
So,
Yeah.
I think that's like Indian people, like you're touching their soul with the syrup because we are very used to having noodles and doing this syrup.
Absolutely.
In India is only like it's somebody sipping a chai.
Yeah,
It's
that's what we
always
do.
like that.
Yeah. So it's also something that instantly clicks. So whenever somebody asks us what does Zuru Zuru mean, one, that it's easy to pronounce, so it's not like other Japanese words that you sort of feel lost with. The second is the minute you say surup, people
They know
sort of
that, what's to be done.
Yeah,
How-
they get
how
the
this is to
emotion.
be enjoyed.
Yeah.
And why ramen?
Actually, that was majorly because it's a rabbit hole. I like to sort of always get lost in things that I'm trying to explore. That's sort of how it started out. The reason why it sort of took that kind of flight was also because Hitein, being the inspiration that he is in my life, always tries to sort of ungli me into doing some things. So at that point in time, this was way before we started anything. Hitein went to work at this restaurant in Bangalore, and he put something on his menu called Thukpa Ramen. Now that really pissed me off. It had no reason.
It didn't even sell. I just did it to piss her off, honestly.
You are a chef.
Yeah, I did hospitality from this place called IHM Pusa, and then I worked in the industry, different restaurants in Delhi, and then with massive restaurants, which had a lot of restaurants back then. I was in Bombay, Bangalore. I basically wanted to cook wherever I could in this country.
So you wanted to be a chef, and that's why you
Yeah.
did IHM. That was quite clear.
No, I mean, I actually did IHM so I could do an MBA faster. But then my first year, there's this restaurant called Cafe Lota in Delhi. It was only 6 months open then, and they were looking for interns and team. So we would go over the weekend, and I would make palak patta chaat there. And
Oh, wow.
And I did
Class
that for
museum
about 2
one, right?
years. Yeah. And then I just kind of fell in love with the whole, it's like an adventure sport when you're in service in a busy restaurant. Like
Adventure sport,
yeah, like anything can go really bad at any moment. You have to be hyper focused, and it's like really a lot of movement You know, it's like it was quite addictive. And then I decided, I will not do an MBA. It's fine. I will just figure this out.
Like
Let's see.
Chart to Ramen, like you have been like in your journey, you have been all part of all the hype and all the new things which are coming.
Yeah, I mean, it was by chance. I mean, the kind of people I was working with, they were at the top of their game, and nobody was really talking about them then. But now, in hindsight, everybody's like, "Oh wow, what a great restaurant Cafe Lota is," or
Yeah, of course.
"What a great restaurant." I don't know, Masala Library was, or whatever.
And you're born and raised in Delhi?
Yeah,
Born and
yeah,
raised in Delhi.
Gurgaon and Delhi,
Gurgaon
mostly.
and Delhi.
And then because of this, I got to travel a lot. I went to Bangalore, I went to Bombay, I was in Hyderabad for a bit. Yeah, and then I dabbled in I was with Chef Kunal Kapoor also as his, we used to shoot his YouTube videos and
In
do
his team?
consultings. Yeah. There was no
Lovely.
team, it was just him and me and like a camera team that was
Oh,
outsourced.
lovely.
Oh, nice. Huh?
Yeah. It was a fun time. And then Navika kind of poached me
How did you
into.
How did you guys meet? Yeah.
So he mentioned that he worked at Masala Library.
Yeah.
During college, I also
The
had
one
like
in
a
CP, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it used to be
Nice
there. Yeah.
restaurant, huh?
Yes.
Very nice.
right
huh?
next to Meridian, and
all OGs?
Mm.
yeah.
Hmm.
At that point in time, I was sort of exploring how I can get out of what I am doing in college.
And what is it that you were doing in college?
So I was enrolled for literature. All the last few years of school, I wanted to like become a psychologist or something, and I had sciences, so that did not put me at an advantage at DU. So even after I scored like good marks, like above 90 and all of that, I didn't get like a great psych college because I don't know, whatever. So I was like, it's fine, let's move on. मैं masters में कर लूँगी और मैं भी English पढ़ लेती हूँ.
Where did you do literature?
I was in North Campus. I was at DRC, which in that year honestly was not doing great at all. I
I
think,
did literature at JMC.
which must have been much better. But JMC, I just did not want to even consider because I went to CJM for
so
school.
enough.
So I got enough of what I wanted there. So
And
I was like,
don't even want to mention what I've done. So
so basically, while I was in college, I was trying to explore. Now that I'm not on the path to become a psychologist after these 3 years, what am I supposed to do? So I didn't want to obviously become a teacher. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not my vibe.
Not your calling, huh?
Yeah, and I actually worked at a lot of different kinds of places, tried to do everything I could to understand what I want to do. And I found somebody who got me a place in Masala Library. At one point in time, I wanted to quit college and I wanted to go to a culinary college.
You were working in the Masala Library.
I was training there. I wouldn't say working because I was quite stupid and didn't
Training
even
in
know how to
what?
chop onions. Training, matlab I was allowed to be in the kitchen.
Okay, got it.
Let's be real about that because there were a lot of talented people. So Hitein was a management trainee there, and he had left right before I joined. So I never met him there.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
Our common friends there thought that both of us think like in a very similar manner. So they connected us much later. In fact, it got sealed in the same month that I was there. My first month of internship is at which end it got sealed, and then it sort of
And,
Ah,
and
okay.
you
took
know
my-
what?
You only worked there for a
I've,
month.
I've
Yeah.
recently read the spiritual journey thing, right, where they say that, when you're supposed to meet someone, you actually cross paths with them a lot of times in your journey.
which we did. You're
Yeah,
right.
Actually,
that.
you cross paths with them a lot of times unknowingly that they are in your universe, but they are in your universe even then. But you meet them when you're supposed to meet.
Like it's a preparation.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, let's start crossing
You're
lanes.
absolutely right. And can I supplement your theory with some reality from our this thing?
Journey,
While I was there, Hitein came at that point in time. Hitein had left the management training there to sort of pursue his entrepreneurial, interest and spirit. He actually at one point in time came to deliver microgreens that he had started growing at that point.
Oh my god, that
It was
was a
a
whole conversation.
little small
Yeah.
blip.
I've tried
in
some
the
things before.
yeah, because that's what gives you the tenacity and experience. So I didn't see him in the kitchen, but when he came and he went, that's when the whole conversation started. That man, you should really meet Hitein. He's exactly like you. You both would really get
And how
along.
many years ago was this?
This is, I think, in
we are
20
sitting to 2026 now.
17 or 18.
17 or 18 actually.
Yeah.
That's true. So that's the
Fair
first
amount of
time.
Time has passed, huh?
Yeah, we almost did not meet. Then we met once again, much later, I think in 19 probably, for some work, and then it didn't work out. Then we met again after, no, that was 17, 18 and 19. These are the 3 years that we met for different reasons, almost crossed paths but didn't really. And Then again, those friends, they got us together like, you guys should meet this something, you know, kaam hi kar lena saath mein if you don't want to like, you know. So that's how we sort of reconnected again. And I think that was the time that the time was ripe.
So that's 2018.
Uh-huh.
Cut to 2026.
20,
when did
yeah.
Zuru Zuru open?
So Zuru Zuru opened in
2022, December.
right?
Oh, it's been 3-4 years already.
Yeah,
My
it's been
God.
3 years. We
3
completed 3 years
in
last year in
2020.
December.
I remember when this place got opened, and all my friends were talking about this place, like which is opened in Shahpur Jat, and this serves ramen and like amazing ramen. Everybody was just talking about it. It was so much hyped. And then I remember we went there before we knew each other, and like we had it, and the hype was absolutely right about it, and it was amazing.
I'm so glad to hear that. So, you know, this is a very important thing that you said, that you heard about it from your friends. That's how we actually got most of the people that came through the door. We have not been on Zomato since the past 3 years. We don't indulge in any paid performance marketing. There's no ads. We don't do influencer campaigns. There's nothing of that sort happening. In fact, for the longest time, marketing department was also absent. Not that I'm proud as a business owner to say that
No, but
we
that's
don't.
a choice that you have. These are all choices that you have taken.
Yeah, we at that point in time sort of chose to work on our product way more intensely so that that can speak for itself and then create the memories that bring people back.
So I
So,
want to
yeah.
be like, so just get it done. So 2022, Zuru Zuru, before that, you guys did something?
Yeah, so
You said that-
2020, I came back because of COVID, and I thought, it's better to just stay closer to home, Bangalore. Plus, as a chef, somebody in the service industry, if you kind of are not working, there's this inertia that has been building up for a few years, and you just kind of get a little mad, ki,
And
bhai,
in that
I want to
COVID time,
work.
you must be like, because restaurants were closed.
Yeah, and you can't do anything about it. Like, so 3 months you have to sit at home because the world is not like there
Nobody's
today.
ordering food, huh?
Yeah, so that was really hard, and I was back in Navika, was working with this company that was making flour, and so she had a lot of flour at home, and she would do a lot of experiments with noodles. Ramen had been on her mind for the past 2-3 years, but this was like the
I'm just a noodle person, I think.
yeah time when she kind of got into it, and we started this. Navika decided to start this little thing called the Hopeless Ramentic. It was the first kind of delivery we started from her house. It was her whole family, us. We had another friend and partner who used to go there from Gurgaon to Noida, and wherever he lived, and we would just take out 10 or 15 bowls over the weekend, and then the orders got so much that we decided to kind of move it from her house to another location. It was also
But the
a
main
good
ramen
opportunity.
is for her.
So I'll tell you, it was, but
Yeah,
I
she's
think.
the one who kind of brought us and taught us about the whole product.
But I obviously also was quite a noob in the kitchen other than just making the product I knew. So I was very hyper focused on ramen, but how to figure out a kitchen operation properly, how to actually organize myself better. All of that I sort of learned from him and our third friend who helped us out.
But did you know, like, for example, you wanted to be a psychologist, so definitely you couldn't foresee yourself, like, I'm going to have a restaurant one day.
Absolutely not. And my mom
Absolutely
was
not.
quite.
Because that's something that maybe you were heading towards.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to open a restaurant for sure, and it just made sense. So once we realized, 2 years into doing the Hopeless Ramentic, we realized that Navika is probably the only person right now, if not in the country, in the north of the country, that knows how to do this. And if there has to be a restaurant, it just makes complete sense to just do a ramen restaurant. So honestly, I'm like an Indian trained and European trained kind of a guy. So I was like, nahi, aise nahi karna chahiye. But it kind of made business sense completely. That there is so much demand, we know there is nobody supplying to it. So we just kind of opened the shop, and we were obviously very nervous.
In
What have you
2021.
learned from it? Like, where did you learn, like, these recipes, the things that you guys have made?
So we opened in 22 to answer your question, and about the recipes, and so I'll have to give you a little background about ramen for that. Actually, ramen is one of those dishes that, if in general, whatever people know about Japanese food is very riddled with rules. Like for sushi, it needs to be a certain way, only then, and you need to cut it like this, you need to season your rice like that. Ramen is not like that. There is a basic framework and structure, but for anything to be ramen, it has to have 5 components. Like that's why thupka is not ramen, and which is why I got
Thupka is
angry.
not ramen?
It's not ramen. So ramen has to have.
I think she's messing with you.
I know, so easily also, it's so easy. Anyway, so those 5 components are supposed to be an alkaline noodle that's made with wheat as the main component. There needs to be a tare, which is the sauce that gives it the flavor. There needs to be a soup. Japanese soups are not seasoned like that. They're just like bone broths, like made with animal and it's just a soup, right? Maybe some seaweed, maybe some fish, all of that, but no salt. Then there is a oil that needs to go on top, there are toppings that need to go, and these 5 things sort of can have, like, as categories of components, can have multiple components in the same bowl. So you can use 2 tares, you can use 3 soups, you can have 5 toppings, right? And you can,
your taste is so authentic. Like,
yeah, so you
Yeah.
can sort of play around within that, and you don't really need to. And tare, maybe you can have 3 types of sauces: miso, soy, and salt. जो मर्जी करो, miso, soy और salt डालने के बाद, and there's no rules around it. So what I found was that, hey, this is a framework. You play around now, and I always wanted to use local ingredients for the simple reason that one, it makes the product affordable. I went out to have ramen at a lot of places before I tried to make my own, and my main problem was me as a college kid who's trying to try. I have one pocket that has 50 million holes now burnt into it, and I haven't been able to have something that I can, you know, sort of relate with or find delicious.
I found the ramen usually was quite expensive.
Quite expensive.
No,
and
it did not have value. Like, expensive is.
Thank you.
Not
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, not worth it,
Didn't
yeah.
feel worth the meal.
Yeah.
It didn't feel worth the meal because also one of the common problems that I found was you say it's ramen, but then you're not really making your own soup. You say it's ramen, but you're not making your own noodle. You're using some random market dry noodle. The thing is, I don't mind that price point. That price point wasn't the issue for me. It was the fact that with ramen, as it is fast food in Japan also, that's not something I'm debating. There is a lot of intentional work and effort that goes into every bowl. Initially when we started, हम हफ्ते में एक service करते थे weekend पे, and the whole week I used to start prepping. So Monday I decide my bowl, or that day was I think my chutti. Tuesday was the day that I started working on the first rendition. I make it and then I put a photo and I do all this thing and start collecting orders. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, one day I'm making soup, one day I'm making toppings, tare, oil, one day I'm making my noodles. And it takes time. And at that point in time, I obviously did not have a commercial setup. So it was like small bartan, everything has to be made 2-3 times for it to be, you know,
Enough quantity.
enough quantity. So it is a deliberate dish that takes a lot of time. Charge me money, but make it properly. You know, that was my issue. So that's why I started making it also. And I still think that if somebody asks me to pay a certain amount for ramen, I would always be willing, because it is a time consuming thing that I would like to pay for, but just give me something at the end of it which is not like a basic thing. Just, it has so much space to put your identity there. Put some identity, put some personality, you know. Like all of our ramens, they don't taste like authentic Japanese. I'm not trying to make it like that, you know. And
Acha, this is not like how it's.
process is authentic.
This is how it feels.
It checks
feels
all
to us.
boxes. It checks
but
all
it's
boxes.
your own recipes.
But yeah,
Your own
it's
flavors, your
And,
own-
own
and we make
your
it
own
for
version.
Delhi. Like, we don't like make thick ass soups, you know, that we
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
even digest in this kind of
weather.
weather.
Yeah.
We obviously tone it down and accordingly like that, so that people can enjoy a bowl of ramen. Not that we don't do this just because we love to do this. We do this so that people can enjoy, you know. And so I think that kind of personality is something that a lot of these other places that were trying to sell ramen before were extremely lacking. And like, it's not just in ramen, it happens in a lot of things, you know.
It
Like,
becomes
it can
commercialized,
happen
na?
with like Hyderabadi biryani also. It can happen
It
with
just
anything.
becomes commercialized. Like, for example, like without taking names, so many GK2 restaurants or whatever restaurants, right?
Yeah.
So then, like now in Delhi, I find, so I'm a vegetarian living in Delhi, that the quality of food in Delhi is very good.
I think so too.
Is overall very good,
Yeah.
because it's all commercialized. सभी को डिम सम बनाने आते हैं, सभी
Yeah.
को सुशी बनानी आती है, सुशी का ठेला भी लग गया है।
Oh, really?
That's true.
Yeah. Because in general we have learned these basic skills.
Yeah.
But then what happens is that the speciality goes away.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a standard, like vegetable crystal dumpling is now a basic thing
Yeah,
in most menus.
Yeah.
Dumplings
It's
have
become
come
a
a
margarita
far.
pizza.
You're absolutely right about that. You've taken the correct example as well. Dumplings have come very far now. You have a entire class of professionals, by the way, that you can hire, जो dumpling chef है बस.
हाँ, एकदम,
ठीक है, वो सेक्शन अलग बन गया. आप उसको बोलोगे वो 50 टाइप का मोमो मार देगा आपके सामने.
100%.
हर कल्चर का एक
हर
टाइप का
colour
डम्पलिंग.
हर उसका ये thickness का, पेपर का, ये का, वो filling अलग,
Exactly.
ये वो, हाँ.
Precisely. Now ramen के शेफ्स नहीं है. क्यों? Because वो that particular dish as a cuisine hasn't started off in a way where restaurants are making it the way that it's supposed to be made. Now more so than before, it's, you know, featuring on menus in a format where it's not that diluted. Yeah, it's picking up quite a bit. Like since we started, now you have more places where you can go and have it.
Which is the biggest in terms of your customers and the demand basically of ramen? When it really shooted up? For a restaurant
Definitely,
of before
we
that.
started as a 10 cover restaurant. Now we have 25. We're still full. Gurgaon, he's also always full. Our friends in
So as
Bangalore,
soon as
they're
you
also
opened,
always full.
basically.
The friends in
There are
So there are there are friends as in are other people who are making ramen and
Yeah.
have opened shops intentionally for ramen as a dish. They are also doing equally well.
So the demand is very much there.
Yeah.
Yeah, people want to respect the niche actually.
Yeah, I think in totality, I mean, not considering the newer restaurants that have opened, but from the older times, there are like 100 seats to eat ramen in the whole country properly, maybe 150, and they all go full. I mean, so we're at a very, I think, beginning stage where thanks to everybody's kind of, I think ramen is going to become a thing.
Like maybe a pizza or a
like a
dim
pizza,
sum sushi in some time, but
Inevitable.
In my opinion, I think you guys make a great team because of your research and his experience and background where you guys
yeah,
are coming from.
absolutely. Actually, that's also how we like to look at it.
Because I mean, managing the kitchen is very, very technical skill.
It is so.
I want to say managing a relationship is also very technical skill.
Oh,
And if we
biggest
have if we have
technical
been able to manage both
That
of them
is the
together,
biggest
I
technical
think
skill.
we feel quite confident with doing
100%.
anything now.
I think very well said.
So
Yeah.
let's hear about, for example, when you opened your first, of course, since you were doing these home deliveries, so your client was already there, correct? And then you open your place, and obviously, like how we open a hostel, you just open and sit, right?
Yeah.
This sort of thing. So you had empty weekends, or was it like full from day one?
Full from day one is a stretch. I think nobody.
Yeah, in fact, we were hoping that it's not full from day one because when we
We were not
started out, it was
prepared.
just
Prepared, huh?
her, me, and some person to kind of
one more guy.
Yeah, one
So
more guy.
We are
and nobody
washing, cleaning, cooking, serving, billing.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt very Japanese then,
Yeah.
that I'm coming,
But over time,
झाड़ू भी मैं ही मार रहा हूँ, खाना भी मैं ही
But
बना रहा हूँ.
I have to
But
mention this,
within-
where anytime you actually go in front of their store and basically there's always people standing outside and waiting to have a seat there, which
Yeah,
is
of course,
incredible job done,
Thank you.
and it's amazing, and it feels so happy, when I see that. Okay, I know them. Yes.
So
Thank
not
you.
full on day one, but like 2-3
Gradual,
months it picked up?
definitely.
Like,
yeah.
was it a very long gestation for you all?
Before open, I was like, if this place is able to do 3-4 lakh rupees also in net revenue, I'll be fine with it. It's okay. हम ही तो हैं, 2 ही तो हैं, हम कर लेंगे, कितना अच्छा हो जाएगा. Then third month onward, I was like, if this does like 6-7 lakhs, there'll be enough. And then half year down the line, I was like, we should be doing like at least 30 lakhs. What is happening? So it's like the graph, the expectation also kind of
Wow.
start going up. So I think by third month, we were at a point when we were like, अब हम दोनों से तो हो नहीं रहा है. We need to start building a business around this. We started it as a mom and pop shop. And we still manage it like that only, but like at some point we were like, there needs to be an organization installed into this, otherwise this will not sustain. So yeah, and I mean that is only all of this only exists because people like want to eat this.
To answer your question about how many people and when, based on like numbers was this outlook. For the first 2 to 3 weeks, we had a lot of people from Shahpur Jat who had been watching the mural being painted. Because that mural took 6 days to be painted. There was a scaffolding, which is quite a halabaloo for a street that is like street that is usually empty.
Quite busy street.
हाँ वहाँ पे से बहुत सारा बाइक और ऑटो अंदर जाता है एक्चुअली. तो जब बाइक और ऑटो नहीं जा पा रहा है तो इट्स लाइक क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे, चिक चिक क्या हो रहा है, एवरीवन नोज दैट हो उधर कुछ बन रहा है. सो एंड आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल क्रॉस दैट स्ट्रीट बिकॉज इट्स अ शॉर्टकट बिटवीन हॉर्स खास टू पंचशील. I think.
Yeah, and it's quite a popular pass through in South Delhi actually.
Exactly.
Anybody who wants to get out of this crossing.
Yeah,
do use it like
usually
that.
use it,
Yeah.
right? So and a lot of people who
When the
walk
outer
in.
ring road is jam for sure.
Exactly, exactly. And a lot of people who sort of go to Asia to walk, people who are going in and out of City Fort complex, they use that path across the boundary. So
Yeah,
we
we're
were,
visible from there also.
and Hitein had the very intelligent idea, which I did not acknowledge his genius about then. I do now. That we should not have like that big light board. Also because उस time पे पैसे नहीं थे तो हमने सोचा भी नहीं करते हैं. But he had this insight of saying कि भाई वो street है तो लोग ऐसे या ऐसे जा रहे हैं, कोई ऐसे दिखता हुआ ही नहीं जा रहा है. So why don't we put a board that is like sticking out like this, so that at least it's visible to whoever is crossing.
Nice.
Which he was absolutely right about, and I mean that little switch saved us some about 10-20,000 rupees, and also was actually effectively better as a functionality. So within those 2 to 3 weeks, we had at least 10 people come in every day out of curiosity just to find out what's up.
Just to try, yeah, that's how we walked in, huh?
Yeah, and within those 2-3 weeks, those people had told enough more people that
This is a nice ramen place.
But I'll tell you,
Yeah.
not everybody was happy. There were some people who came in like, ये इतना महंगा क्यों है? Shahpur Jat में हो तुम तो. You know,
Yeah,
and
that
we were
was-
not even
अच्छा लगा,
expensive.
you know,
I
really
mean,
enjoyed the
yeah.
taste.
So, but one was your product for sure, your research and everything, what went behind it. Second was the location, which went well. for you.
Location was by chance. It's our friend was closing a base cloud kitchen there, and
That's true.
he
Serendipity.
wanted. Yeah, we were obviously looking for places, but this was a very. He was not asking for much then. He was just like, hey, you know, just help me with my rent and all, and you can use the place however you want.
Oh, wow.
And he had his equipment also lying around. So although it was obviously like a Indian kitchen equipment, so thoda sa problem hota hai, but we were like, you know,
it was a very part-time arrangement, by the way. Agreement वो हमारे नाम पे भी नहीं था.
we did not even have the lease for the place.
Yeah.
We anyway got everything done. He cleaned up the whole thing.
So I want to talk about, like, for example, you know, your marketing very clearly has been, you know, of course the
Very
product
organic.
speaks too much for itself, but have you guys had like, oh, we went viral, like, you know, our reel went 1 million, 5 million, 10 million type item? Is that a focus for you guys or no? Like,
The first one that you asked was what was your viral moment and how do you approach marketing about that? So I'll answer that one. The second one was do we want to do 10 outlets or not?
like, what is intention?
Yeah, that I think I'll let Hitein answer with the basic cue that overall in life generally, we both did not know that this is going to be a restaurant that we're going to do. He obviously always wanted a restaurant. I wanted to do something that suits my identity, and this came about. So we are sort of, I think, in life, just still understanding ourselves and where we want to go. With marketing, I think the viral moment was not something that we predicted or created. I think in retrospect, which is 2020 always, I can see that since it's a category that did not have a lot of players, we very clearly branded ourselves as a ramen diner. We didn't want to be anything else. No confusion. It was simple. We are doing ramen. There is some other stuff on the menu because starters should be there since you're coming to have a meal. But beyond that, we are not interested in doing other stuff. We are not going to do sushi just because you're asking. That's just not how our vibe is. Now, I think with that as a base statement कि हम sushi नहीं कर रहे हैं, ramen है main course में, चावल नहीं मिलता है यहाँ पे अभी, आपको थोड़ा बहुत starter मिलेगा. It will all be small portions, so you can try different things, but it's not going to be like a platter. I think that sort of set the tone for, hey, यहाँ पे कुछ अलग हो रहा है, you know. And on top of that, I think one of the most two other things that were quite in your face for a Delhi restaurant to have. One was that mural that we made. It sort of became like a landmark automatically because it was beautiful, which is not on us. It's on Asha who made the mural and she made it beautiful and everything. The other thing was that we did a communal seating, and actually I can tell you Hitein was the person who came up with the idea because we were really racking our brains on how we can increase the covers or actually make it viable, you know, with the number of turnarounds you do every day. Us time pe we only had like 10 seats ki jagah, and plus expense for that entire operation would still be the same, right? So Japanese places usually have a communal dining arrangement anyway. It's like a bar where against it you're sitting and the person is serving you. Unfortunately, that building didn't allow us to have that
kind of
setting,
setup,
kind of a setup. But we still made the table, the main table communal, and I made it, at that point in time, we sort of switched roles. I left the kitchen, I came out and I'm like, I'm going to look at the experience. Hitein, you take forward the ramen and everything, and he made the starters and everything. So we sort of divided roles like that and got to it. Now, when people saw very clearly like a, you know, this is different from usual restaurant setup, it anyway became something that they wanted to speak of. A lot of those small touch points sort of built into like a bigger, let's say what you call a hype on social media also. And from what I understand, media, whether it's online people who are talking on different pages or it's newspapers or whatever, there is always space for something that's interesting outside of what is paid, right?
So you got a lot of natural PR.
Yeah, we got a lot of people who wanted to talk about us because they found it interesting instead of us having to reach out to them and being like, hey, please look at what we are doing. Had we opened something else which was not different, new for this geography, for this kind of, we probably wouldn't have gotten this much, you know, organically. We
But
would
then,
have had to
you know,
speak
I'm sorry
about
to
it.
interrupt here, but then same thing, like for example now all over my Instagrams are Bene Dosa, Bene Dosa, Bene Dosa. कितने लोग line लगा के खड़े हैं? वो भी they also set out to do that only, but that is not something, the sort of virality that you received.
So, you know, Bene is also a cult brand that already has a space in Bombay. Major respect. And again, if you see their service model, a Thindi style standing setup is just absent from Delhi. And I've been telling Hitein ever since our course in Bangalore, I really miss it sometimes. The whole thing that you can just walk out, have breakfast at a place, and like
Open,
a good
yeah.
healthy breakfast in the morning, and just like walk in, get it, move out. Don't even have to sit. You know, it's a very
It's a quick move on. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure Rameshwaram you
10,
were
15.
Exactly.
you would think so much.
I went there. I went to like a couple
So
of
many
other
places,
places. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that, and I think a lot of people. Delhi is not made up of mostly people who have grown up in Delhi or stay here because their families are here only. Yes, that is a big chunk of people, but there's a lot of people who are working in Delhi, coming from different geographies. It's melting pot of culture. तो इसलिए बोलते हैं because इतने सारे लोग हैं यहाँ पे. तो I think it makes sense.
So definitely Zuru Zuru, of course, it's about the food, but it is also the experience.
Also the
Everything
experience,
ultimately,
yeah.
You know, does
Everything
boil
is
down to the
experience.
whole
Yeah.
experience. So let's get to the other question then.
10 outlets.
Are
Yeah.
you opening 10 out? Like, was that the intentionality or the intention was?
So, I mean, Zuru Zuru is always in question for whether we should do more outlets or not. What do you need to scale an F&B business, right? You need consistency to replicate or scale an F&B business. First thing. Second thing, you need something. You need an experience that people want. You know, like product or commodity is like one thing, but you want people when they're coming in and interacting with your product, they should be able to forget about like whatever else is bothering them. You know, that's what it's
Similar kind of
entertainment,
experience to others.
right?
Yeah.
So it should be in like for example, ramen and small plates are in, so that's a good thing. We've always designed our pitch, our operations like that. All of our recipes, all of the operation that production that we do is extremely compartmentalized. It's extremely by weight. Like even we season our food by weight also, like by
nice,
percentages.
okay.
And it's
so
keeping
that-
in mind कि दूसरा होगा तो कैसे होगा.
कैसे होगा,
yeah,
हाँ.
we always did that कि हाँ कि हमने गुड़गांव में 3 खोलने हैं तो कैसे खोलेंगे, you know.
Processes are already set.
Processes are set to scale, and also since like it was a need also for us, because like if you want to open something commercial in Delhi is very good for commercial restaurants. Like all restaurants are commercials. You have you want to open an Indian restaurant, you will hire a CDP for curry, you will hire a CDP for, you want to put momos, you will hire a CDP for that, and you have a restaurant running, you just do an interior thing and it's ready, you know. There are not ramen restaurants. There is no CDP for ramen available. There is, if you go around, I mean, your customers currently don't understand that is it a Japanese restaurant, but you don't have sushi. You know, it's the same as the Indian restaurants that are going around that don't serve dal makhni.
Yeah, of
You
course,
know,
huh.
it's the same kind of rebellion. But that rebellion comes with a cost, because you have to then, whoever is available to work with you, whoever will believe in working for you, you have to make do with them, right?
You need
And
to
you have to train them
from the start. Yeah.
from scratch. So that kind of pushes you to kind of be ready for a scale like that. You know, it's not dependent on somebody's hand.
Okay, let me ask you this: how much time would it take to train someone to train in your processes?
Depends. So
Yeah.
we have different facilities. One where we actually started out with a base kitchen earlier last year, and
We didn't really need a base kitchen per se, but like
yeah, we wanted to explore the other different options wherein we can maybe, because Hitein is primarily very interested in taking Indian cuisines forward in every way that we possibly can, for which we have launched a delivery service called Very Good Ghee Roast, and are exploring.
Very good ghee roast.
Yes, it's inspired from different kinds of South Indian cuisines. It's not limited to Mangalorean, but the Very Good Ghee Roast, the primary product, is inspired from Mangalorean ghee roast.
And vegetarian, non-vegetarian, both.
Yeah.
Everything, all options we have. We make everything in house.
And you're doing it from South Delhi?
yeah, right here, from our base kitchen,
The
From a
neighborhood
base
only.
kitchen. Yeah,
From-
the neighborhood that you mentioned. Yeah.
The neighborhood.
Okay.
from Panchsheel extension.
What was
So,
I
but then
saying?
you thought of adding another. We were talking about the base kitchen.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, multiple conversations. Huh?
To like whether to scale Zuru Zuru or not. So many times now we want to scale it, but it is very close to our identity also, because this is like the first kind of restaurant we did, and
They're trying to be intentional with
intentional with our expansion. With that's the right word actually. Intentional is the word for expanding Zuru Zuru, and that is another reason why we opened a Ghee roast, because we wanted to open something that we can scale easy. You know, what you need capital. It's an F&B business. You need capital. So Zuru Zuru is low capital. You know,
Zuru Zuru is lower capital than the Ghee roast?
no, Ghee roast is lower capital.
So
Ghee roast is lower capital.
Because that's
So if-
delivery only, right?
Delivery only. No. Even if you do even if you open an outlet, it's just like, so from our experience from Zuru Zuru, now we have been able to, and we also did some like projects for other people in between, and that kind of experience taught us how to kind of build an extremely scalable brand. Whether or not we choose to kind of expand Zuru Zuru,
That's
save
still under discussion.
from external money. So the idea is we will have another Zuru Zuru, but currently we want to do it on our own.
But I'm sure, like, you know, because
To
the brand
answer-
you built,
I-
you
sorry.
must be getting like franchisee offers. I'm
We
sure like,
do.
there are many people, you know,
it's been
looking-
3 years. Those
Yeah,
conversations keep happening on the
conversations
side.
must be happening, huh?
They're always happening. It's
And
just
the
that
customers are the best investors at the end.
They are.
ultimately, yes, that is true. And we were also exploring that earlier, I think last year, if there is some kind of a funding model where we sort of take along people who already believe in us, which along with a lot of other things, that's something we're
I'll give you an
exploring.
example. You know, I was talking about Shrey Philocally.
Right.
I think he has around 8 to 10 stores. 4 of them are owned by his customers. Who were their customers before?
Oh, that's wonderful.
So
Nice.
now they are his franchisee owners.
So enjoy the product so much, so much potential in it.
How much time it takes to train somebody.
Yeah.
So in the outlet where food is picked up and sort of served to you, it takes about 1 month for basic training and induction. So within 1 month, you will, if you're in service, you'll know our menu. Housekeeping usually is plug and play. It takes 2 days. We understand if they are going to do or not. Or it's going to
Gonna
not.
work out or
Yeah.
not, huh?
For kitchen, it's also 1 month, wherein they understand one section at least. Nobody gets to ramen in 1 month. Ramen you get to after 2 months at least of understanding the pace, because unlike other kitchens, it's a little bit you need to be faster. I'll explain how and why. When you go to a general sort of model restaurant where let's say you order a starter, you can 2-3 people can share one starter. That's the portion size. At Zuru Zuru, at best 2 people can share. It's smaller plates, small bites, and usually this is like a thing that you see in tapas bars, or you see it in So and the price point is different there. All of that is like slightly higher and different. So you can afford that kind of service, that time and all of that. Zuru Zuru, we made it out to be approachable for everyone and not intimidating. So you can try different things and all of that. So my guys, they need to be fast as hell to be able to push out those many plates on all different tables.
So from a standpoint of a person, from a young person who wants to get into this F&B business and wants to open a restaurant, right?
The
and
dream,
we
no?
have-
Everybody's dream is to open a
and
restaurant.
we have
That is
figured
true.
out, you know,
I
there's
just had a conversation with a friend yesterday.
My dream is to open a restaurant. Yeah, of course.
So always
Very common
there's
dream.
always one thing which I believe is supply and demand, right? And as we have spoken, that supply is very less for ramen and demand is there, right? So what I have understood so far, and what I want to know more, that what is the basic initial investment somebody can start with? Then you said 1 month of training. If you are very well trained and you know your product, what you want to build, then what's the working and the turnaround period, working capital you need post you are live with your restaurant, and the working capital which needs that restaurant to be up and running until it's break even.
So like a little
Yeah.
guide for everybody whose dream is to open a restaurant.
opening a restaurant for kya?
Dummies.
Dummies.
For full scale. No, because I'll tell you, there will be a lot of people who will be watching this and, who really would want to know that if they would like to do this, then how they
fair
can,
enough.
And like from your experience from chef and like both of your experiences, like you are inspiring only because it's very hard to build a brand where actually people are waiting outside.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
very
Yeah,
less
of
in
course
this
it is,
It's
yeah.
extremely.
Let me tell you this, and and obviously then after serving for so many years and then opening another brand called Ghee Roast, which is amazing achievement. So I just
So
want
let's
to
hear.
pass this on.
Okay, the first thing to understand is that there are 2 kind of restaurants. There is a commercial restaurant, like business restaurants, and then there are operator-run restaurants. the kind of how you pay for all of these both these models is how it kind of differentiates. So to start anything, you need energy, capital, right? Either you pay by money or you pay by your own time. So unless you have money or time, don't open a restaurant. If you can start a restaurant now,
So okay, something like Zuru Zuru, if somebody wants to open, let's say,
Be
let's
an
talk about-
operator is the clarity that I would like to give. When I say operator, assume 3 महीने 16 से 18 घंटे काम भी कर रहे हो आप, उसके बाद शायद से सेटल हो जाएगा, and then आप 12 घंटे पे आ जाओगे. And उसके साथ आप फिर you are paying to basically obviously the basic capital you need as capex to start that business, to own the assets, to build whatever, you know.
So
I
let's
understand.
assume as
Okay,
operators.
let's-
As operators.
Somebody
Let's
wants to
operate.
operate. I want to have my own restaurant. Let's
So
let's
how
run
much
with that,
capital they
Yeah.
would need to open something like Zuru Zuru?
so see,
Batao,
capital
cost
stays standard. Any architect you will go to will quote you somewhere between 2,000 to 2,500 rupees square feet. That is generally how much it will cost you
So
to build the outside area. Inside the area, which architects won't be able to tell you, will cost you 1,800 to 25 depending upon
so
how much
all in
equipment you
all,
want to put in.
4,000 to 4,500 rupees square feet, inside and outside both.
You can say like, yeah, 2,000 rupees square feet is a standard like for a lowest budget that you can go.
Okay.
Whether you kind of get an architect or like a person
I,
or you
I,
do it
I, I,
yourself.
want to take like real life examples. I'm an ex-person. I'm 22 years of age. Want to open a ramen place. I've researched. I know the product. Now I have finalized the location in Delhi NCR.
Yeah.
You're saying 2,000 rupees per square feet. Let's say 1,000 square feet will be enough for like let's say 10.
You can start with as low as like Zuru Zuru is
10? Excellent. 10 covers, did you mean?
10 covers.
No. So our space is the upstairs wala space that we started with originally is only about 300 to 350 square feet.
Including the kitchen,
Including
washing
everything.
area,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
washroom, of course.
Okay, so anybody can start with a 300 square feet area,
yeah.
which is 2,000 rupees per square feet. This is the setup cost.
Yeah, setup cost. Yeah.
This is setup cost.
This is hard capex into infrastructure.
Infra.
ठीक है.
And then post that, what do you need?
Then you need some money to buy inventory. So say generally food cost remains between 25 to 30%. So say if you target at doing 10 lakh rupees sale, for example, you need 3 lakh rupees worth of costs of goods
Saman.
Got it.
ready for it, right?
25 to 35 actually, depending on what kind of a concept you're doing. If you're
Yeah.
going slightly higher end and trying to include a lot of imported ingredients in your food,
Then
then it
can
goes
go
up to
higher.
35.
Yeah.
So let's say we've done like 500 square feet में 1 लाख उसके लिए हो गया 3-4 लाख इन्वेंट्री के लिए हो गया.
Then you obviously keep a certain amount based upon your appetite and your product for R&D, because you will have to constantly cook something without feeding it to customers to be able to standardize your recipes.
Another
because-
1 lakh?
Yeah, one is good. It's at least, I mean, you would need that either in kind or in cash.
And
So
staff?
yeah, now staff, if you're doing it yourself, I mean, assuming that you would need at least one less specialized staff, but a general salary, I mean, I'm going to talk about in terms of minimum wage. In Delhi, it's 19,500. So that is the amount of money
That even
you
your
got to
housekeeper
pay.
will be
Even your
charging
housekeeping
you.
guys, you will have to pay, right?
So let's say two start with 2 people and you.
I would say I mean, worst situation is just you. Good situation, you have at least 2 more people.
Correct.
Decent situation. So, and you would want somebody skilled also. So, a general skilled chef from another cuisine, because you will not find a ramen, or especially if you're building your own niche, it's ideal to not hire somebody who's already an expert in what they do. You want somebody who's a little more nimble. So 35,000 is the max kind of budget for that kind of a person. And this is a worker, this is not a leader, right? And minimum you can go to 20-25 these days. You should be ready to kind of give them. So this is one thing to very much to understand, is that it's a people's business, right? It's a, why does everybody want to open a restaurant? I mean, there is obviously clearly way more money in, say, I don't know, trading at any point of time if you have enough capital. But why would you want to do something like this? Is because there is an inherent need, I think, in people to kind of be of service to other people, and this is a very cool way of doing it. It's a fun way of doing it. So if you're getting into this, just remember that you got to be nice. You got to be hospitable to be in the hospitality industry, right? You got to be hospitable to your customers, to your team, to yourself,
To your vendors.
to your vendors, in whichever order you would like. So So whoever you're hiring, be sure that you may have to pay for extra hidden costs also. They may come into trouble. You may have to
That we
trust
can take
people.
it on working capitals and post that once when
Yeah,
you're
so
hired
have
staff,
two
you
months
have the
salary.
infra,
Yeah.
2 months salary, and
Rent, of course.
You'll have to give security. General rule is 1 month to 6 months, depending upon where you are. If you're doing
and
it
how much
yourself.
is your rent? Let's say if you're ever taking a sale of 10 lakh rupees, the target is that.
In Delhi, South Delhi, in a place like Shahpur Jat or say even CR Park, rent is between 100 to 150 rupees square feet, and this is all on super obviously. And if you go say a little more posher like Meherchand, then it starts going 300, 400 rupees square feet. If you 250 से शुरू हो जाता है कुछ जगह
So that is of course a substantial.
So just break this down for me, cost by cost. So
So you have your infra cost,
Yeah.
2200 rupees square foot minimum. Again,
Yeah.
this is like you being
so we're taking
50.
500 square feet.
500
So
square.
then the total comes out to be
We are about 7-8 lakh rupees now.
7-8 lakhs,
Yeah.
Including security.
including security and
And 100 rupees.
Yeah, assuming like a
100
2-month
rupees
security.
square feet type rent.
and just the working capital is remaining now. So let's say 2-3 lakh rupees for next
Working
3 to
capital you had
Pretty much done. 2 months
COGS,
की salary
you
ले
have
ली.
2 months
फिर
salary.
inventory ले ली.
Yeah.
So 7-8 lakhs पे हम पहुंचे अभी.
Yeah.
So 10 lakh rupees. Anyone
Zyada.
on the safer side?
10
Some-
to,
some-
10
some-
to 12 lakh
In-
rupees.
50%
Yeah, so
can do
somebody's
it in
doing,
10 to 12.
I'm
yeah.
assuming if somebody's
50%
doing
can do it,
for the
yeah.
first time, they're gonna make more mistakes than you. So you're are
We
very
also did first time only, so good mistakes we also made. So I think 10 to 12 is a good budget to have.
10 to 12, and you can open a good, let's say, ramen restaurant in South Delhi.
Where you will be the
restaurant
soul
will-
of the restaurant. Yeah.
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 But,
Any
but
restaurant.
here, but of course, this is a restaurant where
You are
You
the
are-
we are
operator.
operating.
You are the operator.
Personally, we are operating.
Personally,
Yeah.
you're operating.
Yeah, if you want to like offset that, then you kind of must
Then
realize
there's more
that
staff,
instead of you, there are going to be 3 people,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
adjust their salary into the
Yeah.
equation.
And
And
then
then
there's a
it-
head chef and everyone.
Then it goes up to somewhere close to 15 to 20, accounting for other people's time. Let's say you get a consultant on board as well, goes up to 25. So, the costs keep piling on depending on who you are getting on board, how you are.
How much you derail your, take your detach yourself, or how much you attach yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
After this is
Even-
all your cost.
Even as attached as you are, if you don't want to be the person doing those things and you just want to be the person strategizing and protecting your time, basically. Your time is going to cost you at least 10 to 12 lakhs more than like how an operator would open, because that keeps you then at a distance to just be, like ऐसे नहीं करना है, वैसे करना है. This product is going to follow my vision, but I am not going to be executing any of it.
And vis-a-vis, now if somebody wants to, let's say, no, I don't have that budget. I have like, let's say, 3 to 4 lakh rupees. Then can I take that cloud kitchen route?
You can. Should you? You should not. Yeah.
Can you take it? You can do
can.
whatever you want
You
to
can do
do,
whatever you
but
want.
don't do
हाँ.
it.
So for cloud kitchens also, you will remove आपका इंफ्रा थोड़ा सा सस्ता हो जाएगा. आपको उतना सुंदर किचन बनाने की जरूरत भी नहीं है. आप cloud kitchens में आजकल actually there is this thing happening. Not that I'm recommending you should do it, but our favorite company Eternal has this service called Hyperpure, which is actually a great product. I would say it's not a bad service at all. So they are now connecting a lot of producers who make retort, frozen, a lot of these pre-prepared goods. They're connecting them with end users, end users as in restaurants. Now, we as a restaurant, we don't believe in this kind of stuff. We make everything ourselves. Our base kitchen operates in such a way where even something as simple as a peanut butter is being conched in-house. After roasting peanuts in front of our eyes, when we check peanut, look at it, roast it, make it. Now, in a cloud kitchen wherein you have to deliver, let's say, convenience to somebody, and at the convenience of having something at home, you can actually just purchase a lot of these things, not put a lot of equipment, specialized equipment, or staff that knows how to make it. Just have one fryer, one something, one
assembly
something.
line, get an
As
assembly
em-
line.
हाँ,
Like those
exactly.
burger joints that came up.
So but
Yeah.
then,
Remember?
okay,
Yeah.
you said but you shouldn't do it.
I
After-
don't
if-
respect that kind of thought process, but you can do it if you
No,
want.
I understand.
Huh.
I understand you don't, but I want to know why. Because if everything is pre-made and it is so easy to do for me, right? To start, just start, right? I'm a young person.
You're an
This is my
experienced,
first business, and I'm really enthusiastic about F&B and this industry, and I have less budget. So this is the only thing which is coming into my budget. So, but what are the problems you're facing? Because I'm very, very, what I am assuming that I'm very, very, dependent upon this delivery apps. Is that the case?
Yes, definitely, of course. Business is all about
no.
leverage, and you're
My
giving your
reason
leverage to somebody else. Why would you
agree 100%, but that's not my
ROI
reason.
नहीं है.
That's not my reason. ROI तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं है इसमें. इस मॉडल में तो इनफैक्ट आपके पास इतना सा मार्जिन अगर बचेगा भी तो वो भी आपका रेनी डे लेके चला जाएगा जब आपका सब कुछ नहीं
Let's say it
चला
like that. The restaurant we opened was a cloud kitchen that failed, and now we have a restaurant there.
But now you're going again to that model because you are opening that.
But no, not in the same way. Delivery is not a bad idea. But
Okay, so you are gonna do your own delivery.
yeah.
Okay, I want to
Okay.
go back to where we were
Steps,
as to why you should not do it.
Yeah.
You can but should not. I think even doing a delivery brand is not really like it's not a bad thing, right? And starting off with that money is also not a bad thing. You can do a cloud kitchen. You can also maybe open a kiosk somewhere instead of having a outward presence. There are many ways to utilize that money in a crafty manner where, let's say, if you have a house that has an extra room or a floor, make your kitchen there. Like we started in the most scrap ways of, gluing things together for it to become something later. So what I meant by that was in that model, you are not generating value for neither your customer nor yourself in a manner where you can part with some of it. So you need to create some value.
Simplify that.
Some
for
of
me.
that cost, that's what I'm saying. So if let's say this is my hand, this is the amount of value I've created. Now to create that amount of value, you have some cost that will remove. There is some value that the customer needs to take away, some that you need to take away. That value creation is not enough for your customer to take away something and for you to take away something out of it, where it becomes a contribution that can scale in time.
So
even if you
to
start
say it-
at a
to
small,
say it simply, you will not be able to give quality to your customer, and you will not be able to
Because
make money
you're,
also.
you're getting everything pre-made.
Standardized है, pre-made है,
And
कुछ USP नहीं
pre-made है
बना.
तो कंट्रोल किसी और के पास है. वो अपना टमाटर, वो अपना प्रेजर्वेटिव यूज कर रहा है. मतलब
वो कल अपनी दुकान बंद
all
कर
of
देगा.
that kind of business
तो
is
आप क्या
fine for a
करोगे?
certain scale, but for somebody with 5 lakh rupees, it's not.
Okay,
Where is the value
so
there?
if somebody is able to find a niche and some gap, white space in the market where they are able to find a product which can have a gross margin of let's say about 70-80% in the same model, will they be and they are making their own fresh product, they're not sourcing it out, will they be able to sustain it?
That depends on a lot of factors. Now I can say हाँ कर लेंगे, but that depends on आपका product क्या है. Was that your core expertise? Are you able to manage distribution of your product? Are you able to get enough eyeballs for people to make orders? You may have the best momo in the whole world, but if nobody eats it, then that best momo lies with you, right? So there are a lot of factors there. Starting with less money in a speed scratch, whatever kind of way that you have, working with what you have to build what you can, that's not a problem. Everyone can, start somewhere and go somewhere else. The path you take with the product you have, I think is extremely crucial and important, and that decides what will make or break you. Like after COVID ended, we did one of our highest sales from home only around I think Jan Feb, and after that I think the lockdown was lifted, people started going out more, and everyone obviously wanted to dine out, right? So if I would have stuck to thinking कि नहीं, let's just keep it at home delivery ही करेंगे, तो वो वैल्यू ही इतनी नहीं थी कि जो कस्टमर को वैल्यू लगे या उससे मैं कुछ ले जा पाऊँ.
Transition with them.
Right, so you have to transition, you have to see where the market is going, you have to see that you're making a product with whatever you have, but is there a taker for it?
And I think it's actually easier when you are at a lower kind of, when you are at a lower game, like at 5 lakh rupees, I think what you should use that money is to stay nimble, to be adaptable, rather than like, if say somebody only wants to do, say we stick with this number 5 lakhs, okay? It's better to use that money to travel, expose yourself, understand where the market is going, and whatever is left from that to kind of adapt yourself for whatever you're doing. Say for example, there is a person who's making cookies. Okay, they realize, okay, the cookies that they're making, now suddenly everybody wants healthy desserts. This is also money and time, right? To kind of shift from say Subway type cookies to going to say something like, like say sugar-free diabetic cookies, for example. That's where the market is. So use that money there instead of trying to pivot into something like a cloud kitchen.
I have
or something
another
like that.
alternative to this actually.
So
It's
you
very
have to
interesting
have
that you
some
mentioned travel.
specialization or some.
But find your space in the market. Offer
with-
value
yeah.
is the whole point, right? So what I also think is, like you said, travel. Travel is one thing. I also think that if you have only that much amount of money, why are you even trying to get a physical space currently? First build your market so that there is enough demand so you can increase supply, right? So, like for example, a lot of home chefs now have a lot of interesting niche concepts that they're bringing forward, that they're regional food that they're bringing forward. If it's not regional food, it's maybe a focused one dish item or like a certain experience that they're sort of, you know, focusing on. And
Now this palak patta chaat is mixed with avocado.
yeah, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of things that people find interesting. So why don't you go to a restaurant that is looking to sort of, you know, have new offerings available, and without them having to do any trials, invest in R&D and do anything, they can just host you for a pop-up, let's say. Now, with the space of that restaurant, their own marketing, and your obviously push behind it, you can have the chance to serve your food to different people, and you can build a market for yourself. It helps you try your product also with an audience before you invest in your capex. So you will understand if somebody is liking it or not before you start buying things to make it.
I think from what I'm understanding from the conversation, of course, there are two routes, you know, a big route, a proper route, and a halfway route that we're sort of trying to figure out. But the main thing that if you do want to open your restaurant is, if this is something that, you know, we all have a dream, I want to have my restaurant, you have to have your product very, you know, you have to know the
clear.
product. I think just assuming that one pizza pasta restaurant type, you know, may not be the thing now, because the market is so crowded.
Yeah.
There is so much offering, and as we said that in general, the quality of food has improved so much that, you know, the hero product really needs, your product really needs to be a hero.
Totally agree with her that you need to create value in terms of product and
Yeah, and then and once you have a hero product, then you can use several ways to see whether that product is working in the market or not. You know?
Absolutely, and if you don't have a hero
But that is the
product,
key
then
now.
you should have great
And
distribution.
adapt. Don't commit to
Either
a
you
product.
do,
also.
either then you go that way. That, you know, I
Yeah.
figure out the line. I'm making a roll which is very cheap, and, you know, I'm able to sustain and make costs. Correct, but absolutely I agree with you that because the market is so crowded, the F&B industry has evolved so much that
And
it
if
is
you
really
don't
time.
have like the kind of brute force money to kind of make space for yourself, then you have to build yourself into whatever crack is available. You know.
But identifying the right crack and the product for it.
So that is a good question. It was a very deliberate decision to not be on Zomato because initially when we started out, we were very aware of the fact that the kind of food that we are doing and the concept that we are moving forward with, it requires some amount of education for the larger public that's going to discover us and have our food and like try to, you know, be a part of that experience. So we wanted our community to be more intentionally created instead of us being discovered on a platform alongside a lot of other brands wherein you just are scrolling through, you find one thing, you see their menu, you see the dishes, you may or may not understand what's happening behind the scenes, and you just, you know, make your opinion about something. And, you know, that was, I mean, and this is, I'm just talking about listing, I'm not talking about delivery yet, because Zomato has discovery as a separate product and they have delivery as a separate product. We are on neither.
Wow.
Now, we don't hate Zomato because as the company Eternal has a lot of products, two of which we anyway actively use. We use Blinkit quite a bit for different things. We use Hyperpure, which is their arm that supplies goods to restaurants. Yeah, so it's not that there is no value in their ecosystem, there definitely is, but as a bootstrapped small restaurant with 10 seats operating out of Shahpur Jat, we just made the conscious decision that we only want to be on, you know, discovery platforms which actually allow you to maintain your identity without a proprietary algorithm deciding what you're worth or not worth. Now, I'll explain myself. There is, when you say that Google is a search engine, you Google something based on obviously the data that they have on you and your preferences, they show you something else, right? In the things that they show you, let's say you look at a Google rating. How that rating is calculated is quite transparent. It's not a proprietary algorithm somewhere in a corner. If I'm getting consistently 5-star reviews, it'll be closer to 4.9 or 5 stars or whatever. If somebody is rating me badly or whatever, it's all, you know, it's there. Now, similarly, they also have a rating system. You can also see who's rating, what they're saying, their profiles. However, the final rating that shows up next to your name as a restaurant, that is actually, there are, I think, जब हमने start किया था तब नहीं था, but now there are also these things about how that rating is for you different and it's different for everyone else.
Yeah, we have that in our OTAs as well.
Yeah, you can switch it on and off also, that setting. Now most people actually don't know about this. back when we started also, they used to have a proprietary rating algorithm or whatever, wherein as a new restaurant, your base rating is 3.5. Now Zomato has actually listed us multiple times and we got ourselves delisted because at that point in time, they also put in the wrong number. They put my personal number, wrong timings. After a certain point, initially we had to start...
When they fill the form themselves, so then
themselves,
of course,
right? So they just picked up whatever information they found on Instagram, and our menu was also constantly changing because we wanted to experiment. We were seasonally changing the menu as well. Our timings were something that we were solidifying in the first 3 months and understanding how we were first open all day earlier. Then we started closing between 4 to 7 so that we can, give our chefs some time to relax and our team should have a good life. That was one of our priorities. So now all of this is happening and Zomato is constantly listing us with wrong information. So we got really pissed at that point in time and sort of, asked to be delisted whenever that happened. We were also not taking reservations initially. We were not the kind of place that wanted to restrict how many people can be there and when you can come and you can only call and come and all of that. But now somebody's coming from Rohini, somebody's coming from Dwarka, somebody's coming from Gurgaon, somebody's coming from Noida. I'm not going to tell somebody who's walked in at 10, having traveled an hour to dine here because some friend told them कि भाई अभी नहीं खा सकते आप because हमारा भरा हुआ है. So then we decided कि 10 सीटें हैं, we'll have to start reservation because we want to respect everyone's time and our own. That's how we started reservations, in fact. So the idea since we started has always been about making it approachable, keeping it, fun and not intimidating. To truly honor that spirit of what we wanted to do, it was essential that we stayed off a platform that was not going to honor what people are writing about us. 3 5-star reviews, 3.5 rating. So I think that sort of set the tone for what we understood
your
about
with that platform.
Yes.
I think it's really aspiring that without any help of these kind of platforms, if your product is good and if you are creating value in the market, then you're going to shoot up. You are going to be successful.
But then also I feel like obviously one thing, it's also a tough business call because there is then a lot of business that you have said no to.
You have to have a lot of confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of confidence in yourself.
It's about basic principle. Okay, why would you, whenever something proprietary comes in, that's basically bringing in some kind of leverage and you don't want to leave, especially when you're small. You don't want to start business by giving somebody else the leverage of your business, by giving the shop of your business, face of your business. Like, why would give it time? Worst situation, it won't work. But that can happen with or without Zomato.
And honestly, we don't hate the brand, obviously. We order from Zomato.
I'll tell you, I think a lot of people will take inspiration from this. If your product is right and your thinking is straight and you're creating value, then even without Zomato or any other platform, you can create a lot of value.
Yeah, it's just a tool. You can also choose to not use that tool and invest your time elsewhere, right?
But now I also want to ask about the other brand that you said. The very good ghee roast.
Yeah.
So
Right.
That is listed on channels. So, and how are you delivering?
We are currently using DotPay as the solution for coordinating between
What is
logistics and...
DotPay?
What is DotPay?
DotPay is...
It's a tech stack solution. Like, for example, it basically gives you a Zomato-like delivery order page. And
No,
then,
how do I order with you? For the
so
customer?
our link is available on Instagram and we're promoting it wherever
Okay.
possible.
So I have
and
to
we're
call
going.
the restaurant directly.
Yeah.
You can call or you can just place your order directly on the link. It will charge you the
Or call
delivery
us,
fee, etc. right there.
Okay.
And you can place your order for whatever you want. It will get delivered to your house. That's not really... And it's a website.
For me, it's the same experience. Just that it's not on Zomato. It is on your specific website
You
or
can
Yes.
call us
link,
also.
whatever you have
That's
to do.
also a
I
very
want to
real thing.
understand DotPay as well. It's an Indian company. How?
I think it's an Indian company.
think,
They
yeah.
came up
I think they
during
were-
COVID.
During COVID.
Yeah, because at that point in time आपका रेस्टोरेंट वैसे ही बंद हो गया है ना, सब कुछ चल नहीं रहा है, ऊपर से जोमेटो उतना ही चार्ज कर रहा था, वो पहले चार्ज कर रहा था. That sort of set out this entire chain of events where that and another company called what was the other one we were using?
Yeah. Got shut down though.
Yeah, it got shut down, but there was
Thrive.
another Thrive.
Thrive.
We used to deliver through Thrive actually for the DIY kit, so you could place pre-orders and then they would be delivered on that certain day.
Even
right?
we have used Thrive for a while in the city.
Yeah, so these two were usually, I mean, the choices to go with, wherein you don't have to pay a big commission. There is a certain sign-up fee, and there's a very minimal charge of, I think, 2 to 5%. I'm not sure what exactly it is.
There's also like a payment gateway charge.
3% तो payment gateway ले जाता है वैसे भी.
Basically, at least they're not eating away into your food from the delivery logistics
I like to
charge
think of
there.
it like, say we are doing conventional वो marketing. Say today I'm like कि मेरे मोबाइल पे कॉल करो या फिर मेरा लिंक पे जाओ and you can order from me. I'm not on Zomato. If you think about how much like that can matter, so like say if you put 30% of your revenue anyway into your own business in marketing, you will get business. Like, you know, you take out 10 lakhs, you take 3 lakhs, you pay 1 lakh rupee to somebody, you give them 50,000 का और commission के जा मेरा 10 लाख का सेल करके आ, वो 8 लाख का तो करा ही देगा. You know, मतलब, and
Well, like you're saying, if you're anyways having to spend that money,
Yeah,
तो तुम directly कर दो, you know, make your
And
brand
that
up.
way
This
you will be
FOMO,
able to achieve
I
this.
just want to understand this. If as a customer, right, and if I'm seeing that you guys are not in Zomato, and I'm just pretty amazed about that you guys are not. So is this any which ways, you know, कहीं ना कहीं वो आपको advantage दे रहा है?
So I think
Curiosity
it's too soon to tell for Gyros. This is
Yeah.
also something that we are like Zuru Zuru. We are going intentionally, organically, slowly to understand how exactly we want to take this forward. Maybe in the future we find a way where Zomato or Swiggy, for that matter, can be a part of this conversation anyway. You know, it's not something that we're completely against. It just boils down to the fact that we don't want to hand over the reins of you know, our business to like an aggregator that can control the terms that we work with, because ultimately even with Zomato, let's say आप 35% margin ले रहे हो या जो भी ले रहे हो, whatever their running rate is right now. Last I think when they reached out कि delivery start कर लो, it was that. Now आप FMCG का कोई आइटम बेचने जाते हो, लेट्स से आप मॉडर्न बाजार को बोल रहे हो कि लिस्ट कर लो, कहीं पे रख लो, तो वो भी 30 से 40% लेते हैं आपका ऑफ द टॉप ऑफ योर प्रोडक्ट. बट वो अलग टाइप का बिजनेस है, वो इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल है. वहां पे आप अगर एक प्रोडक्ट रख रहे हो, आप उसके कितने थाउजेंड्स एंड थाउजेंड्स ऑफ यूनिट्स बेच रहे हो, इट बिकम्स completely different and your economics of that model is different. Here, not only do they agree to charge at that level from you, your visibility is not like a market or a bazaar where
Yeah.
somebody will search and it will show up.
no,
That-
that's priced separately.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
that's
that is priced separately.
Yeah.
They can hide you, they can shadow ban. If somebody
Yeah.
else is paying for more ads, they get more space. So you are enrolling and enlisting in a bidding war for yourself, which is the thing that we don't. That is the thing that we don't align with. It's not actually the.
It's not the delivery, it's not anything.
हाँ,
Not the
वो जो
visibility,
margin
yeah.
is not that big a problem. वो तो चलो ठीक है, आप अपने अगर आपका वो डिलीवरी का बिजनेस मॉडल ही वैसा चल रहा है, तो यू कैन फिगर आउट योर यूनिट इकोनॉमिक्स इन अ वे वेयर यू कैन फैक्टर दैट कॉस्ट इन. आपने वो फैक्टर भी कर ली, आपने चलो ठीक है 2 साल आपको बहुत अच्छा चला, आपने यू स्पेंड 6 months इनिशियली ट्राइंग टू गेट इट अप, it's working really well on your platform. Now suddenly after 2 years, let's say they are revising all contracts together, they are not going to ask you कि हम रिवाइज कर रहे हैं तो तुम्हें ये ठीक लग रहा है कि नहीं. वो कर देंगे, आपको ठीक लग रहा है तो आप रहो, आपको नहीं लग रहा है तो आप चले जाओ. Now as a cloud kitchen, let's say if you don't have another business and you have not diversified,
सारा उसी के फोकस करके बना दिया.
तो आप तो वेट कर रहे हो कि हाँ ठीक है मेरा अच्छा चल रहा है ये सब कुछ, और अभी आपका अगले पे आउट से पहले ही कॉन्ट्रैक्ट चेंज हो गया है एंड नाउ द टर्म्स ऑफ द गेम आर डिफरेंट. तो आपका जो गेम प्लान है, आप बार बार किसी और के रूल्स पे चेंज करते रहो. ये सब कुछ ना, जब व्हेन आई वाज इन कॉलेज, a lot of the mistrust that I have in starting delivery on such a platform actually came from the fact that at that point in time they introduced a product called Gold. Now, not saying that nobody can make mistakes. Honestly, as a big company trying to get their footing also, they have been exploring a lot of business models. They've been trying to do different things which makes them money, creates value for the ecosystem. So I don't blame the company for trying to try different things. But both Swiggy and Zomato came up with different kinds of plans and these things for restaurants wherein they would offer hugely discounted you know, experiences or you know, end products to consumers. And as a restaurant, obviously you had a choice to opt in or not. In some you did not, and you had to bear a lot of those fees. And these are first hand things that I could hear from people who are working and owning restaurants. So that sort of built a certain, you know, apprehension in me, thinking ठीक है, good visibility, aggregator joining connecting us with customers, but at what cost?
I think that's very good. I think the whole idea of Zuru Zuru being intentional from the start, from the ingredients, from the process, you know, making true to your roots, so that reflects in every decision that you make for that business, and this is sounding like very much aligned with that.
So it's not coming out of any hate or apprehension or anything. We really respect and, you know, appreciate all the work that different parts of, you know, the ecosystem is doing for itself. People are doing in the ecosystem. So there's no hate there. But there is obviously questions around, is this for us or not?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
And I think that's an important question
That's
to
fair.
ask. And that's an important question to
That's
ask at
also
every
fair.
you know, every step of the way.
No, I've seen people gone down. Okay, one thing you underestimated before opening.
The amount of time I have in my life. In a day, the number of hours in a day.
One expense that shocked you.
Electricity bills.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a shocker.
That
You're
is
right
In
about
summers,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. But what is the in your domain? What's the most amount of like equipment or anything which is taking out electricity?
AC.
ACs.
Air conditioning.
We don't have a door between our kitchen and
Yeah,
our
it has to be
dining
on
area.
all throughout.
Yeah.
One food trend that's overrated.
That pistachio chocolate situation.
Kunafa.
Yeah.
Anything with pistachio? It's
No,
like
just
kunafa.
that chocolate I don't
Kunafa.
understand. Kunafa chocolate.
One thing customers don't understand about running a cafe.
It's a lot more personal than what it looks from outside. Like
Yeah.
it's not just enjoying the party; it's also organizing the party.
Nobody's in it for the money. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This industry demands a lot out of you.
Passion.
Yeah.
One mistake new restaurant founders must avoid.
Don't take your team for granted. Pay attention, train them, spend your time, building the culture internally that you want reflected externally. Because it starts with your team, and if you're going to prioritize only your customers and your shareholders as your ecosystem, then you're not going anywhere with that.
I think that's good advice in
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
company.
Any income.
If Zuru Zuru wasn't ramen, what would it be?
Such a good question.
Maybe fried chicken.
Yeah, it would be practically.
Japanese to Korean.
That I was not expecting.
Yeah.
We did a trial. We did a whole trial of that.
Yeah,
also.
there was a whole thing. There's a creative on my
But
canvas
the-
which says tasty chicken.
But there's some starter in with fried chicken, right?
Yeah, we do
You
have.
have
We
some-
don't
We
have
do
a fried
katsu.
chicken now.
And karage also we do now.
It's not on the menu right now. It's a specials, but we do regularly. We try to
Fried
put in a
chicken.
special. Yeah.
One rule you would never compromise on.
This is something that I constantly talk with my team about. Don't do it if this is not something that matters to you. Go home. Just do something else. Just be here and do this because you respect yourself and your work.
Be intentional.
Be intentional. If you can't do that, just go home. There's no point. Don't do it half-assed.
One word to describe your journey so far.
It feels like it's been a lifetime.
A lifetime.
A lifetime.
A lifetime. And you're just getting started.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
This was a nice, chat that we had with both of you. A lot of great insight about the restaurant, about running a very specific kind of restaurant that you both are building so
About
carefully and so intentionally. That's a word we have used so
Yeah.
much today. So it was great
Thank
to get
you
to
for
know
coming.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. I think we had
Yeah,
such a
it's a
great
great
time. It's been a very long time since we had a long conversation that we thoroughly enjoyed.
Chatted and reflected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.